it back, but it's more than basic. It's a portion of his rap, but the core is ancient. It's supported like a pack of some more observations are important, like the fact that we're bored of fake shit. More creative, have the floor, so take it. Travel to the core is a normal placement. Tattoos on my arm in a form of face.
All right, it is December the 27th, and it is a momentous day. Momentous because this is the 3rd anniversary of the birth of my youngest child. That's right, my youngest child turned 3 today. Her name is Lila, and she is 3.5 feet, 59 pounds of solidified awesome.
I agree.
Everything that kid does is outstanding, and everything about her is exceptional. And I just want everyone to know that I take the privilege of being her father very seriously. And she is very, very happy that I am her father. Now, I don't know how she feels about her mother. That's not true. She loves her mother very much. They're out right now celebrating her birthday at the high jump thing, trampoline.
Okay, all right.
While I'm in here doing a podcast for you nice people. And the podcast is Tattoo with Children. That is what you're listening to, Tattoo with Children. I am your host, Flavor Ray, in Seat A. Across from me in Seat B is my partner in crime, the Dread Pirate Benjamin. Across from us both is an empty seat with headphones sitting on it because CIO No is on vacation.
Yeah, he went on vacation.
So I guess that's the thing that you can do now. Just take vacations whenever the mood strikes you.
Well, I don't think it's whenever the mood strikes you, but, you know, when you make as much money as CIOPayne does, I mean, you kind of have obligation
you make
your
the
family.
Rules. You make the rules when you make as much money as Mike does.
Yeah, we've never made enough money to make the rules.
Exactly.
That's never happened.
The most I can do is make a strong suggestion.
Right.
And see if anybody does anything.
And see if anyone actually listens.
All right. Listen, guys, it is my daughter's birthday, and I am very happy about that. Unfortunately, that is pretty much the only thing I'm happy about today. I had intended on being very, very positive all the way to the new year. Like, my intention was to go from 2019 to 2020 on a just rocket of positivity all the way through.
Okay, all right.
But here's the thing about it, Ben. There was an old documentary about pimps and hoes.
Okay.
Okay, and one of the pimps, Bishop Don Magic One, said, listen, if you tell a hoe that you gon' beat her ass, you may think that you're just saying that to keep her in line, but the truth is, she's going to test you on it. You might think that you wouldn't do it, but I guarantee you that she is going to do something to get your attention in that area. And when you do beat her ass, you gotta beat her ass like you trying to kill her so that she won't test you again. Okay. Beat her ass, she says, Daddy, don't kill me like you say you're going to. And then you get your good hooker. Let me tell you something, guys. I told you that you kept fucking with me, I was gonna come at you. I just did that with the intention that you would just leave me alone for a little bit, let me be positive. But you can't do that, can you? You got to get my attention in this area. So, okay, motherfuckers, let's go. Let's go since this is what you want. I don't see if I can give me some good hookers out of this.
This is the worst opening to a podcast ever.
So, yesterday, my wife is out with the kids. She takes them to McDonald's. And I'm running errands, and I get a text message. Hey, come by McDonald's and hang out. I go, all right. So, I go to McDonald's near my house. It's on the South Loop of Lufkin. Ben, let me ask you a question. Did you know that the McDonald's on the South Loop of Lufkin is completely staffed by Mexicans?
I did not know that.
100% Mexicans. Like, I looked at everybody that worked there.
Yeah.
And it was all Mexicans.
Okay, so there's 3 McDonald's in town. One is down by Crown Colony.
Yeah.
That one closes early.
One is over on Timberland Drive when you get to First Street.
That one never closes.
That would never close this for any reason.
And then there's the one on the South Loop.
And the one on the South Loop, which is also, I think it's 24 hours as well, and it is totally I don't know what that means. Okay?
Right.
I have no opinions on it, really. It's just something that I didn't know that I figured out yesterday. And maybe some people listen to this and can burn that for me and let me know what they think is going on there. It's not good or bad. I just don't know what it is. Anyway, so I step in here to the which I will now refer to as the Mexican McDonald's, and my wife is locked in a conversation with a lady I don't know. And I walk in, and the lady turns to me and goes, "Hey, using this app, I got 40 nuggets for $10. And I respond with, good, and turned away.
Okay.
I went and got a large tea, came back to sit down. I sit down in between my wife and this lady. Okay. My intention was very clear. We are no longer speaking to you. I am not speaking to my children and my wife. This is now a family event. And the lady takes her phone, brings it over my shoulder, and sticks it in between my face and my wife's face, and says, "Hey, my friend just sent me this. It is a picture of a baby, and a newborn." And I turn and go, "Oh, it's a child." When it's children, I have a soft spot, so I'm like, "Yeah, I'll look at your newborn kid." Hey, where? And my intention was to ask, where is the baby? Like, in what part of the world? You know, is it she sent it from Sri Lanka or Nacogdoches or down the street? But instead, I look at the baby and I ask, where did you order this from? Because I noticed that it's not an actual baby. It's a fake baby.
It's a what?
Just what I said. It is a doll that looks like a newborn. So realistic, in fact, on first glance, you think it's real. On second glance, you think, what the fuck is happening?
Okay. I'm fairly disturbed at this moment.
Oh, you're not disturbed yet. Here it comes. She goes, "Yeah, she sent it to me, and it's my 8th. And I go, 8th? She goes, "Yeah." And she proceeds to present to me all 8 of her fake children. Some of them are white, some of them are Mexican, some of them are Asian, some of them are black, some of them are a full 18 inches long, some of them are 9 inches long. They each have a first name and a middle name, and they each have multiple outfits. They each have their own quirks, things they like and don't like. Some of them can't be around the other ones. They all sleep in the same bassinet, but she needs to get a bigger one of those to spread them out further to give them more personal space. This went on for 20 minutes. 20 minutes of this. And here's the thing. She's showing them the picture to me and my wife.
Okay.
And we're both looking at each other like really wondering.
Like I'm looking at you now.
Like you're looking at me now, exactly. And I just look at her phone while she's scrolling, and there are hundreds of pictures of these things from every angle, every conceivable. She's got them in her lap. She's doing selfies with them. Now, keep in mind, while this is going on, her 2 actual children, age about 5 and 8, are running around trying to get her attention. Like, her 5-year-old literally is like sitting a foot from me with her face leaned into me because I'm the one guy who has her mother's attention.
Okay.
And she's not paying them even the slightest mind. She's too busy telling a complete stranger, a black man with visible tattoos up and down his arm, and his Mexican wife, about her fake family that she obviously loves more than her actual children.
What?
Now, here's the thing. I understand Ben being speechless because I've had a day to work with this, and the only thing I can say is compassion. I understand that this lady's lonely and has no one to talk to. And kindness. This is where I fail. I fail in kindness because the kind thing to do would have been to wait until her children were in a different room and then murdered her. That would have been the best thing for everyone.
Was this was this a normal
Yeah.
Okay. What was the age of this person?
This person was between the ages of 40 and 46.
Okay. And I'm assuming they were white.
Yes. They were most certainly white.
Okay.
They weren't white like Anglican church white. Mm-hmm. They were white in the more trailer parkish area of white.
Okay.
Which is almost like black, being real.
She had. Are you sure the children were her children?
Yes,
the real
positive.
ones.
I'm positive those are her children.
Okay.
They refer to her as their mother. There was a third older child who was around the ages of 18 to 20 that I never saw because she conveniently went to the bathroom and then never came back for about 30 minutes. I don't blame her at all. She did the right thing.
How did she get into a conversation with? Well,
she didn't. She simply began. She poked her cell phone into my face and began talking.
Okay.
No conversation was had. There was nothing to say. The only conversation really was the silent conversation between me and my wife of me trying to get her to get us the hell out of here.
Okay.
I'm like, get the kids out of the playpen.
Okay.
Get all of our shit up so we can get away from this lady.
Okay.
And just so happens that right at that moment when I was just about to say, hey, lady, we're going to have to go for a walk. You're not coming back?
Yeah.
She decided to leave. Like, that was the only thing that saved us all.
Okay.
My point is this, people. You think that lady's crazy. She's not. She's you. She's just like you. Exactly like you. The fact that she wears her crazy on her sleeve does not make her worse than you. She loves fake silicone objects more than her flesh and blood. And you say that's insane. And I say, really? Really? So you're telling me that you love your kids more than the object that you own? Because I'm not sure that you do. Yeah, I know that I sound pretty harsh right now. I sound pretty angry. But you gotta understand, that's not the only thing that happened over this Christmas season. Other shit also happened that has me kind of hot. Because I'm really starting to wonder what the fuck you guys are doing. So, here, another little story from the same side of town. The life skills coach, teacher, for the Hudson School District parked her car in front of a goddamn train. Parked her car in front of a goddamn train, waited for the train to come. The train did come, and the inevitable happened. She dead. That was the life skills coach. Her job is to keep your kids from killing themselves. It's to give them the skills to cope. And what did she do? She killed herself.
Right.
What?
Yeah, I went down that wormhole a little bit, and looked up her kids. Her son hasn't said anything, but the statement by her daughter led me to believe that this has been an ongoing thing. I can't imagine what her husband's going through now. The picture that you and I saw when we looked up the name was, we didn't know her.
No.
She was the life skills coach at Hudson. So a lot of the Hudson ISD people that listen to us, I do want to express our condolences to you.
Certainly.
And if it so happens that your kids knew her, that's doubly felt.
Indeed. I would ask. People always ask, in this situation, were there warning signs? I would venture to guess that the kids in her class saw the warning signs. I would venture to guess they saw the warning signs and they came and they told their parents.
Yeah.
And their parents did absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do when the kids speak to us. We do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a very tough situation. I mean, I've raged about it and I've mourned about it, and I certainly am now that I know she has children in the community, am maybe a little softer than I was. But I think one of the reasons that you and I are coming at it from the way we're coming at it, it's not that we don't experience empathy.
No.
It's that actually we're experiencing quite a bit of empathy.
And I'm not used to empathy.
Yeah.
But I'm cultivating it for this reason. Because the only person who I've spoken to about this, this happened right in, where we are now is not far from where it all happened.
Right.
I live in Hudson.
Right.
And the reason why I'm hot right now is because the only person I've spoken to about this is you.
Right.
No one else. Yet, Ben Harbuck, Pirate Ben, shaved his beard over the holiday. And I've had, 7 conversations about your beard.
I'm sorry to say that's probably low.
Seven separate conversations, each one 30 minutes long,
and you haven't
about facial hair,
and you haven't had them with me.
No,
you've had them with other people about me, who are trying to figure out if I'm struggling with something because I shaved, because
he cut the hair on his face. Everyone's concerned. Yet a woman parked her car in front of a moving train in order to end her life. And that's not even a conversation.
Yeah, as far as I know, it hasn't made the news. And I think the struggle I have is that the point you're making that we're both more than a little devastated by is the fact that why is my facial hair of such importance? And yet a member of our community dies and no one mentions it.
No one mentions it in the sense of, wow, what do we tell our kids now? No one's that's not a conversation. What do we tell the kids about life skills? Do we tell the kids that it works when they have ample evidence now that it doesn't?
Right.
Do we tell the kids, well, she was disturbed, she had issues?
Yeah.
And the kids know for a fact that you are disturbed and that you have issues?
Right. Yeah, I think the point of these two stories, I mean, I hadn't heard the first one, and we had discussed the second one, but not at length, because so far as I've run into, no one I know is talking about it. And actually, everyone has gone, wait a minute, is that true? Did that happen?
Did that happen? Was that a thing that happened?
Is that real?
See, it disturbs me because my kids have to grow up in this world. where what's important? Well, what's important is how you look, who you know, how much attention that you get on social media, but not if you live or if you die.
Well, and then I think it's becoming evident too that
Jesus Christ.
That was excessive.
Is this going live?
I don't think so.
Okay, if this is going live, this is not my intention.
No.
I was intending to talk to you people right now while I'm this angry, but if that is, I'll go with it. And, I ain't afraid of you motherfuckers. But I'm not trying to start an actual fight. I'm trying to start an actual goddamn conversation that needs to fucking happen. Because we all believe that we're doing our absolute best. We think we're working as hard as we can, and I don't think we're working very hard at all. I think that we're coasting along, hoping for the best, even now. Even after the horrendous 2019 that we had. And guys, let's not pretend that 2019 wasn't fucking awful. It was terrible. So much. Guys, do you realize that Russia, Russia as a country now has a hypersonic missile in their military? I don't know how many, but I do know they have at least one. And I know that a hypersonic missile is faster and more dangerous than any other weapon on the planet today. That means essentially they've won.
Yeah. Is it faster than what we have?
Much faster than what we have.
Okay.
Honestly, if they were to launch it, we wouldn't even be able to tell that they did it until it hit something.
Huh.
Like we can't even track it.
When did this technology come out?
They told us about it, I think, a few, 6 months ago. They informed the United States about it as part of one of those non-aggression agreements that we signed regarding nuclear weapons.
Okay.
So they told us that they had it in development, but it wasn't deployed yet.
Yeah. And
they just told us that they deployed it either today or yesterday. I think yesterday.
Okay.
So that it's going. It's ready to go. It's in the military.
It's online.
Yeah, it's online.
Okay.
Locked and loaded.
Yeah.
And they stressed in their write-up and release of this information that they're the only country that has one. And to my knowledge, they're right. They're the only country that has one. So yeah, I mean, on every level, guys, we have a lot of fucking issues to deal with, and one of those can't be our hairstyles. I think that we're going to have to leave the whole hairstyle opinion industry in 2019. We no longer have opinions on people's hairstyles. From now on, whatever your hair is, that is your goddamn hair. It is your right. It is your life. And we're not going to comment about it, not because we don't really care, even though, honestly, we don't really care. It's because we have too much work to do and too many things to deal with to worry about whether or not you have braids or if your edges are tight or if you're wearing a natural. No one gives a fuck if your hair is natural. We don't care. I don't care if you dye it. Dye it blue. Dye it green. Cut it all off and be a shaved head freak. I don't care. Because that's not important anymore. What's important now is all of our kids are now under the umbrella of hypersonic missiles. What's happening now is the people that we depend on to educate our children and keep them safe are killing themselves. And you say, well, that was a one-time thing. No, it wasn't one time, guys. Did you not hear the first story? Do you think that lady is going to be alive in 2021? I don't know what her job is. She could be a teacher. She could be a kindergarten teacher. I wasn't going to sit there and figure out what she did for a living. I wasn't trying to be in the same room with her for another 5 seconds. She's not going to make it, guys.
So what do you think the work we have to do is?
The work we have to do, honestly, is we have to start talking about all of that shit we're scared to talk about. Like, we're going to have to start talking about the fact that we don't know how to have relationships. You know, it's talking about the fact that we don't know what feminism is or how it came about or where it went. We're going to talk about the fact that we don't know how to deal with sexual assaults. Because we don't know how to deal with sexual assaults. We've proven that shit.
Yeah.
You know, like, if I were to go by the prevailing wisdom, apparently, if you have enough money, then there is a price tag for sexual assault. You can just decide what assault that you want to commit, and then look at the menu and see what the price is for it. I know that up to a forced oral sex, unwilling oral sex is $25 million?
Right.
$25 million, and you can have forced oral sex with anybody you want. Right. You just got to have the money to pay for it. I mean, is that what we're going to say, people? Because that's what we've said.
Yeah.
You say, well, it's not that simple. Look at what you're telling the children. They are what's important. It's not about your understanding, because you don't understand anything anyway. The hope is for them to understand. That way, they can maybe live better than we do. And we're not living great. You say, well, I'm fine. Are you really fine? Because I did not know that lady. I didn't seek her out. That was a random lady on a random Thursday. Like, my luck is bad, but it's not that fucking bad that I found the one crazy baby lady in the world. This is a whole goddamn industry of crazy baby ladies. The shit that she showed me on her phone, 9 of those 8 fake babies, 6 of them could have passed the inspection at the border.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody spent a lot of goddamn money to make that look real.
Yeah.
That tells me that a lot of people are paying money for that shit. And that tells me a lot of motherfuckers are fucked in the ear hole.
Yeah.
Because that ain't right.
Yeah.
Guys, you keep telling me that you're okay. You're telling me now that you are so excited for 2020. For what? What are you going to do? What are you going to do different in 2020 you didn't do in 2019?
Yeah.
My intention is to work harder. And when I say harder, I mean 4 times harder.
Yeah.
I intend to have 4 times more in 2020 than I have in 2019. That is my intention going into the year. What is your intention? Because if your intention isn't to have 4 times more going 2019 you do in 2020 you do in 2019, then I think that your intention is doomed to fail no matter what it is.
Yeah. Do you think it's an entertainment issue?
That we got too many distractions, you mean?
No. I'm not convinced we have too many distractions.
I'm not either.
I'm curious if what we're talking about here has to do with entertainment.
The entertainment industry, or in what way?
Our desire for entertainment. Are we hitting that? Are we hitting that era of Rome?
I knew where he was going when he said that. That's a very good question. We're going to get right to that in just a moment after this break.
My name ain't Mikey, but yeah, I rock. You know why? Because I don't give a fuck. That's why it doesn't matter whether.
And we're back with Tattoo with Children. Ben just brought up an interesting point about entertainment. Like, and I knew he was when he started that. I figured he was going to go to Rome, because one of the weird things about the fall of Rome is that there were certain things that happened during the fall of Rome that also happened during the fall of every other empire before that. Mm-hmm. Like, go back to the Egyptians and the Macedonians and all the empires before that, they all had certain things that were kind of the hallmark of things coming to the end. Mm-hmm. And one of them is the prevalence of entertainment above all. So it used to be in Rome that if you were a military hero, somebody that protected the Republic, the Empire, that you were lionized and held in high esteem. Well, towards the end of Rome, they began to instead glorify people like the gladiators. Mm-hmm. You know, they became very, very famous. And people who performed services that were oriented towards entertainment, not entertainment, but pleasure fulfillment. Mm-hmm. So they began to be very much entertained or glorifying prostitutes, glorifying chefs. Mm-hmm. Like there were celebrity chefs in Rome. Okay. Things like that became much more important than the more solid heroics of protecting the empire. Mm-hmm. Centurions and generals and things kind of fell out of fashion. And that was kind of signaling the end. You know, right. When a person who wanted to get ahead in their society, instead of grabbing a spear and the gladiators and going out and killing Huns, would instead actually choose to become a gladiator in the arena. Because, quite frankly, there's just more money being a gladiator. Right. You know, that's kind of the thing that started happening in all of the other civilizations that had big empires and began to crumble. It's in one sense you could say that there were cracks in the government and they began distracting the people with things like that.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not certain that that's actually what happened.
Because if you look at it, you know, what are the good conversations we have with people? Well, for instance, one of the ones that I've had recently, and I wouldn't call it a good conversation, but I think the people that I had it with would leave it having a good conversation, and that is the new Star Wars.
Sure.
I haven't seen the new Star Wars, but I speak of the Mandalorian.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. People ask, have you seen it?
Yeah.
People ask, where are you in the episode?
Right.
What do you think of Baby Yoda?
Yeah.
What do you think of the characters? What do you think of the costume design? What do you think about how much we learned in the first season?
Right.
Did you enjoy it? What did you do this week? Well, I watched The Mandalorian.
Right. I watched The Mandalorian. Oh God, that's so great. It's on one sense, people are doing that because it's something that is so big in culture that they've seen the images so many times that they're pretty sure that everyone has, and so that's something that they can be pretty sure that everyone can speak on.
Yeah.
On the other hand, people are into that because it is a story that they can not relate to, but pretend to relate to. Like what goes on in The Mandalorian has nothing to do with their lives, and so there's no harm in talking about it.
Which is why I say it's entertainment. And yeah. I think the issue that I'm having is that we're fascinated and we're fixated.
Fixated is a better word.
We're fixated on what entertainment is coming next.
Yes. Okay, we've gotten The Mandalorian. It's a complete thing, right?
Right.
You know, the season's over.
Right.
Okay.
When's the next season?
I need something else. I need something right now.
Yeah. I'm going to cancel. I've heard from at least 10 people I'm going to cancel Disney, which I didn't even know you got it, but I guess you're going to cancel it now.
Right.
I'm going to cancel Disney because they don't have any new content.
Yeah. The Mandalorian was last week. I need something this week.
Like,
yeah.
Where is the fixation on the idea of entertainment? Like, I don't. In other words, this goes back to Gary Vee's. Do you live for the weekends?
Right.
If you live for the weekends, your shit is broken.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks he's against weekends or vacations.
No, he takes 6 vacations a year. That's not what he's talking about.
Right. He's not against vacations. He's against you living.
The dogs are also agreeing with what we're saying here.
He's also, but what he's saying is that if that's what your whole life is,
right?
Why are people working towards? All right, hang on. So, I think the issue I'm getting here to is that what. In other words, that's all I hear from people. They tell me about what they're going to do when they retire.
Right.
They tell me about what they're going to do on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. No one's like 90% of their lives are spent thinking about shit that they're going to do that they're not doing.
Right.
And I'm at work, and at work I'm thinking about what we're doing the weekends, and then I get to the weekends thinking what I'm going to do the next weekend. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, you're living your life to do or you don't mind what you do, and when you're retired, you're living your life trying to get to something rather than living your life for what's happening today. Right.
And everybody says it's so impossible.
Yeah.
They say, well, I want to be a stay-at-home mom, but I don't have enough money.
Yeah, I can't possibly do that. I can't do what I want to do today.
Have you asked anybody? Have you talked to people?
Right.
Because I bet if you ask 5 different dudes if you could be a stay-at-home mom, 2 of them are going to say yes.
Yeah.
And you say, well, but I don't want to be married to that dude. I didn't say you had to be married. I didn't say what the arrangement was. I just said 2 of the dudes would say yes.
Like nothing happens without work. Is the whole thing, and that's one of the things that people hate the most. Is when you say, look, it's not you look at this chef, David Chang. I see David Chang, and people say, wow, man, he has a great job. He has a great life. I'm like, have you asked David Chang if he has a great job and a great life?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he has slept without getting high in the last 20 years.
Right.
Like, I don't know much about David Chang, but I would bet a fair amount of money that he gets high every weekend.
Right.
And he said, well, that's his choice. Yeah, it's his choice. I'm not saying it's bad to get high. I'm just saying is that what you want to do? Because if it is what you want to do, just go get high.
Right.
You'll be like David Chang.
Right.
Well,
I want to make a show like David Chang. Have you ever read a book about making shows? They work 20 hours a day for 3 months.
And then it might not hit.
I mean, go read about making The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
In Georgia.
That story.
And in Georgia in the summer.
God.
With 150 pounds of makeup on.
That was The Walking Dead. I mean, that shit was real.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, or like making a podcast, people. Dude, we've got almost 50 goddamn podcasts. Do you think this shit came easy?
Yeah, and I think everyone, and I think that's why I'm focused on entertainment, because one of the things about me and you is we thought back in the day, we were working.
No, we actually did. Like, I actually thought that because I was tired all the time, it meant that I was tired because I was working all the time. The truth is, I was tired all the time because I spent so much energy avoiding working.
Yeah. We weren't at any point really. We were doing work. I get that.
Yes, work was being done,
but it was almost a pretend version of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't like it. And look, I'm giving myself a hard time here, but it applies. It wasn't as if I was putting in all of these extra hours because I had 18 business meetings that I had to go to. I would take a task that should take, 2 hours?
Right.
And make it last 6.
Or make it last 2 days.
Or make it last 2 days, even long. Exactly.
Just so that I had something to complain about.
Exactly. That's what Gary Vee means about if you're living for the weekend, then your shit is broken. Because if you're living for the weekend, then chances are you're not doing nearly as much work as you pretend that you're doing.
Right.
Like, you're not making the money you're supposed to be making because you're not doing the work you're supposed to do. How do I know? Because you live for the weekends. You spend all of that time thinking about the weekends. If you spent all of that time thinking about weekends instead of working, then you would be done so soon that you wouldn't even need the goddamn weekend. Your weekend would start on Thursday.
But yet I admit that maybe it's because we've been fixated on entertainment.
It's definitely a thing that I have been fixated on in the past. Like, I have, I'm posting up a rant tonight about how I am not obsessed with, but I can't seem to get over this one game company that keeps doing me wrong. Mm-hmm. No matter how many times they do me wrong, I keep going back, and I know I'm going to do it again. And it's the exact same thing that Ben's talking about. It's like, why am I absorbed in my entertainments? And it's been that way for a long time, as far as I'm concerned.
It's been that way for me too. But I think at some point I started recognizing that, first of all, Saturday and Sunday literally amounted to 20% of my life.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a joke because obviously I'm not good at math.
Right.
But it was 20% or less.
Or less.
That I was basically trying to spend all my time thinking about 20% or less of my life, and I got kind of fucked up about it.
Yeah.
And I started recognizing that I should actually live differently. That the 80% of my life should actually matter more.
That should be a bigger portion of your actual focus.
My existence is not 20% or less.
It's kind of like what I was saying about Christmas. Dude, Christmas is a season of giving, but I don't take that time off. You say, well, why not? You'll spend it with your family. I don't take that time off because I give my family a lot of my time anyway. And I think they would rather me actually accomplish something. I think that they want me to be successful. I think that they want me to be great. And if that's the case, then I should be spending my time working most of the time. And the time I spend with them should be quality.
Right.
I think that's the way that it was supposed to be in the beginning. I go back and I look at the old lessons from the old masters, and they never said leave your family. They said do your work, and your family will be there.
Right.
And I think we're basically now we're not doing the work, and we've left the family. We're not doing the work. And we don't listen to our children. We're not doing the work, and we don't listen to our spouse. And when I say listen, I mean really listen. As in, take what they say to heart. Take what your spouse says and believe that is what they meant when they said it. And I know that is a tall goddamn order. That's something that's a technique I have not even come close to mastering yet.
Yeah.
Because I still have, dude, I've talked about this before, that I have a creature of patterns. I have my patterns the same as everyone else. And one of my patterns is, look, I fight the fight that's in front of me. And if that fight is with my wife, then that's the fight that I'm going to have. It's a bad habit because I'm not mad at my wife. I'm mad at you. Society. I'm mad that we're in this predicament where the children have no place to turn. It's like, call the suicide hotline, and they say it doesn't work. He said, no, it does work. You just have to call it. I said, what proof do you have that it fucking works? Because the last 3 people that I've seen and admired died. You know, Juice WRLD died. My teacher died. One of the guy on ESPN, the analyst from ESPN, whose name I can never fucking remember. He died from complications with pneumonia.
Right.
That doesn't mean that pneumonia is extra deadly. But because we're fixated on entertainment and he was an entertainer, we want to now say, oh, well, we have to stop doing things that could possibly give us pneumonia so we don't die like him. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
You know, it's like our shit is all backwards now. Because A, we haven't had conversations. We haven't done the work necessary to figure out our own shit. And B, because we are so focused on entertainment that we can't even begin to see our lives for what they are. My wife is out right now at Hijinks. We call it Jump Jump. My 3-year-old calls it Jump Jump.
Well,
She's out at Hijinks with my 3-year-old, and they should be having a lot of fun right now. That's the right thing for her to do. It's the right thing for them to do. The right thing for me to do is to have this podcast. Because when I go and talk to my kids tonight, I'm going to come at them with a different energy. I'm going to hear them with my whole heart. I know my kids struggle from time to time. I have a 3-year-old and a 10-year-old, and they struggle. I have to be there for their struggles. But if I don't do my work, I'm not there. If you don't do your work, you're not there. You're just like that stupid woman in McDonald's talking about your fake dolls, your entertainment, rather than to your real children. And are you following me, guys? Like, are you actually hearing what I'm saying? Like, you say that you're not that woman. I hear you. I hope that you're not. But I've seen her many times. I've seen her many times in faces of people that I know. People I've known for years. Years and years. People that I thought I knew how they react to stimulus. And they're reacting a different way than they normally do. And I can say it's because I'm different, or because the time's different, or because they're getting older, because I'm getting older, because the kids getting older. But the truth is, they're just fixated on the wrong shit. They're just fascinated by things that don't matter. They're worried about Ben's goddamn beard. Okay? They're worried about whether or not I'm going to get a haircut. They're worried about, well, you were factually incorrect in episode 47. Guys, I know when I'm factually incorrect in episode 47. I know that I did not give Christmas episode the same treatment I gave Thanksgiving episode. That's fine. Because I wasn't focused on that. That wasn't important to me at all. What was important to me was telling you my feelings about Christmas. And that's what I conveyed. Like, I focused on the things that were important. That's what I want everyone to do. But you can't figure that out if you don't talk about it. Talk about it with me. Talk about it with Ben. Talk about it with strangers. Talk about it with your family. Talk about it with your grandmother. Talk about it. Because if the conversation starts, we can actually get somewhere. 2020 is when we can do it. This is the best time. Because for the first time in a long time, we're coming out of a pit, and we're actually at the edge of the pit. Every other pit, we've gotten halfway up the slope and then slid back down. This time, we're actually at the edge of the pit for the first time in the last 10 years. We're actually in see daylight. Guys, now's the time that we need to start. We actually need to work. Are you with me? Are we going to make 2020 the thing it should be? Is it going to be better in 2019 or we do the same shit all over again? I want to know your opinion. And I want you to be honest with yourself. Don't just tell me, yeah, I'm ready. No. Be honest with yourself. What are you going to change? What's going to be different? What conversations are you determined to have with your own children? Have it in church if you have to. Have it in the coffee shop if you have to. Just start. Just start it up. I'm going to be here the whole time doing more podcasts, more ideas. I will keep taking your feedback and feeding off of it. I will burn it, and then we'll talk about it later. Okay? You're not in this alone. None of us are. Everything you're feeling, everyone else is feeling too. You're feeling guilty about binge watching X, Y, and Z instead of taking your kids to the park? Yeah. I feel guilty about that shit too. But at least my kids are all real. All right, guys. This has been Tattooed with Children. I'm your host, Flavor Ray. You can find Tattooed with Children on Facebook at Tattooed with Children and on Instagram at Tattooed with Children. You can find us on Twitter at Tattooed With. You can find me on Twitter at Hunter Vanguard. That's one word, Hunter Vanguard. You can find me on Instagram at Madara Shadow. And you can find Ben at Instagram at Black Crow Brother and also at Black Spot Tattoo Company. And even though he's not here, I'm going to plug him anyway because he's my friend. You can find Mike Payne at CIOPayne on IG and also at Payne.points. That's Payne spelled Payne. I do hope that my brother Mike Payne has a great time on vacation. I always wish the best for my guys. He still works for us even when he's not here. So all the best there, Mike. Have fun. And all the best to you too, guys. Look, these conversations are just going to get harder this year. I'm going to spend more time, more effort, and I'm going to be pushing harder and harder and harder because, quite frankly, it's time that we started making some headway here. I'm getting kind of sick of doing the same thing over and over again. So we're going to do something different this year. And, we'll see how far we get. Regardless, I still love you guys.
See ya.
We were born to bring it back, but it's more than basic. Cause a portion of its rap at the core is ancient. It's supported like a pack of some more observations. They're important like the fact that we're bored of fake shit. More creative, have the floor, so take it. Travel to the tour is a normal placement. Tattoos on